Hello everyone and welcome to today's class. Today we are going to discuss about CCS Conduct Rules 1964. In CCS Conduct Rules, we are going to study only the following rules. Rule number 2, rule number 3, rule number 3C. Rule number 3C is very important. Then rule number 6, 7, 9, 15, 16, 17, 18, rule number 21, 22 and appendix 4. Only the following rules are included in the syllabus of AAO. So let's directly start with rule number 1. Rule number 1 is generally applicability. In rule number 1, 3 is important. It says that CCS Conduct Rules 1964 is made effective from 30/11/1964, that is 30th November 1964. It applies to person appointed to a civil service or post including a civilian in the defense service. So it is basically applies to only civilians. The exception are it is not applicable to railway servant, member of All India Services, or any other in respect of which the President has directed that this rule shall not apply. So there are 3 exceptions: railway servants, member of All India Services, and those for which President has specifically implied that this rule will not apply to this section of people. Then rule number 2 is usually definitions. So rule number 2C is important to us, which is family members. So who are included in the family member? So wife or husband, either of the spouse, and son and daughter or stepson and stepdaughter, who are wholly dependent on the government servant, or any other person related, whether by blood or marriage, to the government servant or to his wife, and wholly dependent on the government servant. So now conduct. What is conduct? Conduct is how we present ourselves, our behavior in public. So it is personal behavior or etiquettes or mode of action. Either it may be positive or negative. The government employees are expected to promote the employer's interest in connection with which he has been employed, and necessary implication of such a contract is the servant's outlook to serve his master with good faith and fidelity. So, being a government servant, it is our responsibility to follow some given etiquettes, or our behavior or conduct in the public shall always be very gentle, because we are representing a government, either central government or state government. So being a government employee, we represent our government, so our behavior, our etiquettes should always be very formal in public place. So what is misconduct? Any act inconsistent with the faithful discharge of duties, prejudicial to the interest of or reputation of the master, constitutes misconduct. Misconduct arises with ill motive and it excludes innocent mistakes. All misconducts cannot be enumerated. So, rule number 3 is every government servant shall at all times 1. Maintain absolute integrity, maintain devotion to duty, and do nothing which is unbecoming of a government servant. This rule 3.1 is very important for all our disciplinary action, disciplinary cases. This rule number 1 is always there. Okay, so we just have to mark this up. Rule number 3.1, that is every government servant shall at all times 1 is maintain absolute integrity, maintain devotion to duty, and do nothing which is unbecoming of a government servant. A conduct which is indecent, re- reprehensible, or abominable, involving moral through not legal lapses, is also conduct unbecoming of a government servant. So any conduct which is indecent or abnormal may not be any legal lapses, but the outer picture is indecent in public. So this will come as misconduct. It should be in conformity with the ordinary norms of decency and morality prevalent in the society he lives. It should be in consonance with the laws of a land which he is bound to respect. There is not a deliberate breach of department rules by the employees. Integrity is uprightness, honesty, or purity. What is honesty? And what is dishonesty? So, dishonesty is whoever does anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person or wrongful loss to another person is said to be dishonest. Devotion to duty has been used as something opposed to indifference of duty or easygoing or light-hearted approach to duty. It means faithfulness or true service. It means unfaithfulness to service. Rule 3 aims at maintenance of efficiency, commitment to duty, honesty, and discipline among government employees. Rule of conduct may and do vary from time to time. They must at all times be judged from a robust common sense point of view on a reasonable standard. Rule 3 2 ka 1. Earlier we have studied Rule 3.1. This is Rule 3.1 and this is Rule 3.2.1. Every government servant shall hold supervisory post. Every government servant holding supervisory post shall take all possible steps to ensure the integrity and devotion to duty of all government servants for the time being under his control and authority. No government servant shall, in the performance of his official duties or in the exercise of powers conferred to him, act otherwise than in his best judgment, except where he is acting under the direction of his official superiors. Whenever you are working as a supervisor, so you have to take care of not just your personal work, but also the works of all other employees who are working under you. So it is the duty of the supervisor to check or keep a check on all the works of employees working under him. Only when you are given an order to carry out by your supervisor, only then you have to follow the orders of supervisor. Otherwise, as per the best judgment of yourself, you need to perform your official duties. Rule number 3.2. The direction of the official superior shall ordinarily be in writing. Oral direction to subordinates shall be avoided as far as possible. Where the issue of oral direction becomes unavoidable, the official superior shall confirm it in writing immediately thereafter. A government servant who has received oral direction from his official superior shall seek confirmation of the same in writing. So, in our day to day work, Whenever an official gives us a verbal order, just after reaching office, or if the verbal order on that very point of time could not be converted into a written order, then as soon as it is possible, we need to confirm the order in black and white. Okay, we need to put up the subject which what has been instructed to us, that sir, kindly confirm the order that you have just given to me in through note sheet. Rule number 3, insertions. Rule number 3A, promptness and courtesy in discharge of official duties and in dealing with public. Rule number 3B is observance of government policies regarding age of marriage, preservation of environment, protection of wildlife and cultural heritage, and prevention of crime against women. Rule number 3C is important. Rule number 3C is prohibition of sexual harassment of working women. No government servant shall indulge in any act of sexual harassment to any women at her workplace. In charge of a workplace shall take appropriate preventive steps. Sexual harassment includes such unwelcoming sexual determined behavior, whether directly or otherwise, as physical contact and advances, demand or request for sexual favors, sexually colored remarks, showing any pornography, or any other unwelcoming physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of a sexual nature. So, all these points will be treated as sexual harassment in workplace. Rule number 6 is joining of association. No government servant shall join or continue to be member of any association, the objective or activities which are prejudicial to the interest of the sovereignty and integrity of India, or public order or morality. So, being a government servant, we shall not join any association with such objectives which will hurt the interest of sovereignty and integrity to our country. Rule number 7 is demonstration and strike. No government servant shall engage himself or participate in any demonstration which is prejudicial to the interest of the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of state, friendly relation with foreign state, public order, decency or morality, or which involves contempt of court, defamation or incitement to an offense, or resort to or in any way abet any form of strike or coercion or physical duress in connection with any matter pertaining to his service or the service of any other government servant. So this means we, being government servants, shall not participate in any strike or demonstration which will hurt the interest of our country, the integrity of India, sovereignty of sovereignty and integrity of India, and is bad for the security of our state, and which will lead to poor relation with the foreign states. Also, we should not abet any form of strike. That is, if we ourselves are not participating, we shall not encouraging or assisting someone to do something wrong, or we shall not persuade someone to do something by using force or threats. Then our rule 9 is criticism to government. No government servant shall telecast through any electronic media, radio broadcast, or any other media at present, which adversely criticize the current or the recent policies or action of the government. Here the exception is only office bearers of association or trade unions. Only they can release any press notice or release any broadcast, but still no such media release or no such social media release shall embarrass relations between the central and state, or between state government, central government, and any other foreign states. Okay. So before telecasting through any media, we shall always remember that we should not in any way criticize our government, current government. Then rule 13 is gift. So the amount of gifts we can accept are given as follows. Save is provided in this rule: no government servant shall accept or permit any member of his family or any other person acting on his behalf to accept any gift. Usually we should not be accepting any gift which involves any monetary transactions. Government servant may accept on occasions such as weddings, anniversaries, funerals, religious function, etc. the gift up to the amount of, for group A it is 25,000, for group B it is 15,000, for group C it is 7,500. So the value of the gift should not exceed, for group A it is 25,000, group B it is 15,000, and group C it is 7,500. So during accepting gifts we shall follow this in our mind. Gift includes free transport, boarding, lodging, or other services, or any other pecuniary advantage provided by any person other than a near relative or personal friend having no official dealings. A casual meal, lift, or other social hospitality shall not be deemed to be a gift. A government servant shall avoid accepting lavish hospitality or frequent hospitality from any individual, industrial or commercial firms, organization, etc., having official dealing with the government servant. If in any other case, government servant shall not accept any gift without the previous sanction if the value exceeds. For group A and group B it is 1500, group B, C and group D it is 500. So right now group C is not there. So for group C cadre it is 500. In group A and B it is 1500. So without the previous sanction we shall not accept gifts above 1500 and 500. Rule 13A is dowry. Giving, taking, demanding, or abatement of dowry is a misconduct. Right now situation is better, but earlier this dowry pratha was there, where during marriages a huge amount of monetary transactions were held. So this is strictly prohibited under CCS conduct rules. Rule 15. Private trade and employment. No government servant shall engage directly or indirectly in any private trade, or hold an elective office or canvass for a candidate or candidates for an elective office in any body, whether incorporated or not. Canvass in support of any business or insurance agency, commission agency, etc., owned or managed by any member of his family. So we cannot canvass for any other family member's business also. Take part in the registration, promotion, or management of any bank or any other company registered or required to be registered under the Companies Acts. So must avoid such situations. Rule 15.2 is no government servant may, without previous sanction, accept honorary work of social or charitable nature or occasional work literally artistic or scientific character or amateur sports. So 15.2 are the exceptions when a government employee can engage without previous sanction. So what are those work? Or any honorary work of social or charitable nature and occasional work of literature, artistic nature or scientific character, or can join as an amateur sports person. So following activities a government employee can do without previous sanction. 15.3. Every government servant report if any member of his family is engaged in a trade or business or own or manages an insurance agency or commission agency. We have to report this as soon as we came to know about such things. Unless permitted with not accept any fee for any work done by him or any private or public body or any private person. No government servant is permitted to accept any fee also, okay? We are given salary, so no extra fee for any work should be accepted without previous permission of the competent authority. Rule number 15A is subletting and vacation of government accommodation. When we are given a quarter for government accommodation, it is given for self-use only. We are not allowed to sublet the vacant quarter. Finding of the state office regarding subletting is binding on the disciplinary authority for the purpose of initiating the disciplinary proceeding. So, and subletting and vacation of government accommodation is strictly binding in any disciplinary case. Rule number 16 is investment, lending, and borrowing. So, we government servants shall not engage ourselves in any equity market, okay, which is our stock market. We shall not usually engage ourselves in any investment to direct market, that is stock market. Occasional investments made through stockbrokers or other person duly authorized and licensed or who have obtained a certificate of registration is permissible under the rules, provided that a government servant may give rise to or accept from a relative or personal friend purely temporary loan for a small amount free of interest or operate credit account with a bona fide tradesman or make an advance to pay to his private bank. So we should not involve ourselves in lending or borrowing. Neither we should lend money and take interest in the given money, or we also should not borrow money in interest, which is said as, we have seen there are people who are usually lending money on interest, so we shall not be involved in such things. If we are borrowing money, we should directly go to bank, apply for a loan, for a small loan like car loan, home loan, etc., personal loan. So we can take such loans, but we shall not engage ourselves for such personal loans from personal lenders. Rule number 17 is insolvency and habitual indebtedness. A government servant shall so manage his private affairs as to avoid habitual indebtedness or insolvency. Shall report full facts for legal proceedings, for recovery of debt or declaring himself insolvent. So if there are any legal proceedings, the government servant shall report the complete facts for himself being in debt or declare himself insolvent. Rule number 8 is movable, immovable property. So what are our movable and immovable property? Movable properties are objects like car, scooter, moped, fridge, TV, AC, etc. Immovable property is usually land, in our own name, or land inherited from our parents. So Rule 18 says that on first appointment, government servant shall submit a return of his asset and liabilities. We should on joining, we should inform our department regarding our movable and immovable asset. And later, only Group A and Group B officers are required to submit annual return of property. Except with the previous knowledge, government employee shall not acquire or dispose any immovable property by lease, mortgage, purchase, sale, gift, either in his own name or in the name of any member of his family. So, before disposing or acquiring, also, we shall take proper permission of the authority. Rule number 18.3, movable property. The transaction in movable property report within 1 month if the value exceeds rupees 20,000 in case of Group A officer and rupees 15,000 in case of Group C officer. So whenever we are transacting any amount for any amount more than 15,000, 20,000, we shall take previous sanction of the authority. Rule number 21 is restriction regarding marriage. Bigamy is not allowed. Government servant may be permitted where permissible under the personal law applicable to both parties. Marriage with foreign national is to be informed to the government. So before the age, previously it was 18 and right now it is 21. Before the age of 21, a government servant shall not marry, and then by bigamy is not allowed. Then government servant, while marrying a person from foreign countries, shall inform the government. Then rule number 22. Rule number 22 is consumption of intoxicated drinks and drugs. A government servant shall strictly abide by any law relating to the intoxicating drinks or drugs in force in any area which he may happen to be for the time being. Not be under the influence of any intoxicating drink or drug during the course of his duty, and shall take due care that the performance of his duties at any time is not affected in any way by the influence of such drink or drug. Government servants shall usually not be drinking on duty. Okay, the government servant shall not be found intoxicated during his duty hours. Also, whenever he, other than duty hour, also he is representing our government, so his behavior, his conduct should be very formal and should not be found intoxicated in public, even beyond duty hours. Refrain from consuming any intoxicating drink or drug in public place. Not appear in public place in a state of intoxication. Not use any intoxicating drink or drug to excess. Here, public place means any place or premises including conveyance to which the public have or permitted to have access, whether on payment or otherwise. Rule number 22A says that no government servant shall employ to work any child below the age of 14 years. So, below the age of 14 years, it is usually child labor. So, we shall not engage any child below the age of 14 years to work. So, it is our duty not to employ any person below the age of 14 years for any performing any duties. So that's all for conduct rules. With rule number 22A, we have completed our conduct rules. Now let's move to the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. So the Prevention of Corruption Act comes into effect from 1/9/1988. The important sections are Section 2B, Public Duty. Public duty means a duty in discharge of state, the public or community at large has an interest. So usually public duty means duty for state or public. Public servant means any person in the service or pay of the government, that is, we are public servant. Section C are the cases which are triable by special judges. Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is offences and penalties. Here section 7 is important. Public servant taking gratification other than regal remuneration in respect of any official act is punishable, and for such act government servant shall be punished with imprisonment which shall not be less than 3 years but which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Taking gratification in order by corrupt or illegal means to influence public servant is also punishable, and shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term not less than 3 years, and which can also be extended up to 7 years, and also shall be liable to fine. So a public servant shall not take gratification. Only legal remuneration as per prescribed rates. Only a government servant can only avail this much. Claiming for any extra benefit is an offence and is punishable. As per section 9, taking gratification for exercise of personal influence with public servant is also punishable. And such punishment will include imprisonment which shall not be less than 3 years, and also extendable up to 7 years, and also liable to fine. As per section 12, punishment for abatement of offences defined in section 7 or section 11 is also punishable with imprisonment for 3 years, which may be extended up to 7 years, and also be liable to fine. Section 13 says that criminal misconduct by a public servant is punishable. We shall not involve ourselves in any criminal activities. Otherwise, we shall be given punishment of imprisonment for a term not less than 4 years, and also could be extendable up to 10 years, along with fine. Section 14 says that whoever habitually commits an offence punishable under section 8 or section 9, or an offence punishable under section 12, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 5 years, but which may extend to 10 years, and shall also be liable to fine. With this, we are done with Prevention of Corruption Act. Further, chapter 4 here says that investigation into cases under this act, where we have section number 17, persons authorized to investigate, and then we have section number 31, which is important. Section number 31 says that section 161 to 165A of Indian Penal Code shall be omitted. So yeah, that's all. Only this first few sections, section 2, 4, 7 and section 9. Only the following sections are important. That's all. We may have a small, very small 2 marks question from this Prevention of Corruption Act. And also we have 2 marks, 1-liner questions from our CCS conduct rules. So most importantly, rules are very easy if we remember the rules. We just need to memorize the rule number and the given rule. So only the index will be helpful for this. We just need to remember the following rules. Most importantly, rule number C, rule number 7, rule number 9, rule number 15 is also important, and rule number 16, rule number 17, rule number 18, 19 and 20. So here if we actually remember the rule by rule number, we can easily write for 2 marks. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.